Federal Commission.
All right, heading on to the cable. Health Ministry tells courts NAFDAC alone can enforce SINA. Health Ministry tells court NAFDAC alone can enforce sachet
I saw
alcohol
this
ban.
yesterday. No, we talked about this yesterday. Yeah, we did.
I said, what's all this back and forth? NAFDAC is saying it's Health Ministry. Health Ministry is saying no, it's NAFDAC. So what is it now?
It's supposed
People want
not
to enforce
collabo.
it.
They're supposed to do it together. They're meant to do it together because NAFDAC cannot exist without the health ministry. Like what they do is enforce whatever the Ministry of Health is saying. So listen, see, Rose, watch how
you cannot work together. How do you expect us to even have trust in what you are doing?
Rose, watch how sachet alcohol will be back. Watch all this thing now.
It didn't go anywhere before.
It not go anywhere before.
It not go anywhere. Wasn't not yesterday or Wednesday. I was coming to my workstation. I think that was yesterday because for the past 3 days I've been going to the office. So yesterday I was coming to my workstation and no, I was going back home. And then I saw a very young boy that was not perhaps up to 13 years. And he had these sachets of, I was coming back from the office on Tuesday, and he had these sachets of drink, inside a nylon pack. And he was taking it somewhere. And somebody saw him, and the person was somebody familiar to him. And she was joking with the young boy that, already this evening, are you pack am only you like this? And the boy laughed, said, yes, so I went to pack it. In my mind, I'm like, how is this even funny? A child less than 13 years is being sent to buy this thing. Now tell me how this child will get to 15 without knowing how to take these things.
That's if he has not started. Because if they finish the sachet, you know how when we're younger, you say, oh, I want to try. That's if he has not started. That's if he has not started. Because the person that probably sent him on an errand will say, oh, yeah, Baile, take this one. You too. Take small, taste it.
Anyone they reduce or remain.
Anyway.
Just I let both of them sit down and Health Ministry come up with this thing. NAFDAC enforce it. What is it? Yeah.
Anyway.
Still on the cable, right? Senate panel to federal government scrap centralized payment system. Envelope budgeting has failed. All right, this is coming from the cable newspaper.
In the Daily Post, we have ADC APC spokespersons trade barbs over Edo shooting incidents. Somebody tweeted yesterday and said, do you mean like a presidential aspirant's car was shot against and nothing has been said? This is where we are now, Abby. What does somebody want to say, Andrew? Nothing now. Next up, we have Tinubu approves reconstruction of 3 federal roads. Those are the headlines from the Daily Post this morning.
All right, on the Tribune, the Senate urges Tinubu to sack CAC Registrar General. Another one on Tribune says over 98 billion naira injected into primary health sector in 2025. 98 billion. How far the health sectors then? Primary health, PHCs. How far them? I know the one in my village is not functioning.
Please. They should not. Yesterday, on my way home, when I said I went out, I saw my local pharmacist. So we were gisting. She was asking me that, how far now that have I now gotten a house? I just started laughing. I said, have you seen what is going on outside? And she had said, I said to her, I understand why some people, not that I agree with it, but I understand why some honest, upright people decide to dabble into very, very funny activities because they want to make money. And I said, because every morning on the show, we come out and we talk about, we read numbers like this, and it's so outrageous to not drive you crazy. It's because we know that we have talked about PHCs on this program. and how they said there's no money. Not once, not twice, not three times. We know how health sector workers keep on they keep on what's it called? Is it rioting? Not protesting, going on strike because of this. I don't know. I don't know. 98 billion. Okay. Anyway, moving on to the pen pushing newspaper, the last one for the day. Journalist Modele Sharafa Yusuf declares for Ogun State governorship. Oh my God. Didn't Modele Sharafa used to be a renowned news person? I remember watching this person on the news. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Pen pushing member Wale Dada elected spokesperson National Association of Nigerian Travel Agencies. Those are the headlines this morning from the dailies that we've looked at. Now we're about to slide right into the ones that have caught our eye this morning. Before we do that, right about now, the time is 12 minutes to 8 this Friday morning, today being the 27th of February 2026. You're still tuned to Women Radio 91.7. This is the Daily News Review. My name is Foming. Rose is here. Aditon, our analyst, is here as well. We are live on YouTube at WFM 917, and you can listen to us live as well via our website, www.wfm917. Okay, Rose, you're going to take the first headline.
Why are you putting me on the spot? All right, let's see what we have this morning. Okay, so let's start up with this one. Is Adetong with us?
Yes, she is.
Okay.
I am.
Okay. So let's go ahead and start up with what is going on with INEC, shifting the elections to January. You know that when they brought out their timetable, I think some weeks ago, so there was a talk of since Ramadan is starting ending of February, why it might still be the same for next year. So why should we even elections should be at least shifted and all of that. So today we are saying from the Guardian newspaper that INEC ignores Electoral Act protest, shift 2027 elections for Ramadan. Now, it goes on to say that while leaders of Nigerian major opposition political parties yesterday mounted a blistering attack on the freshly signed Electoral Act 2026, describing it as an anti-democratic with a rousing call on the National Assembly to begin a fresh process to amend the one-week-old document. The Independent National Electoral Commission revised a 2027 election timetable to accommodate the adjustment introduced by lawmakers to the repealed Electoral Act of 2022. Now, bowing to pressures from Muslim faith over the conflict in the earlier proposed date for the general elections with Ramadan, INEC has now fixed January 16 for presidential and national assembly elections, while governorship and state houses of assembly elections will be held on February 6. The Commission had earlier fixed February 20 for the presidential and national elections and March 6 for governorship and state houses of assembly. Now, this could just go on, but we know that for the opposition political parties, one of the things that they are opposing us on the signed electoral bill is the fact that we can do hybrid, we can do electronic transfer of results, and for places that might not be able to do so, we can do it manually, how we did last year. These are one of the things that the oppositions are going against. All right, so in the midst of all of this, one we want to think that, INEC would, maybe want to relax a bit till all of this is over. But INEC is just going on with its own. Like, if people should keep making noise, concern me. Yeah, just they do my work, they go. The only people they took into consideration was the Muslim faith, was because of the Ramadan, which is, quite understandable. So let's hear your thoughts on this, Adetong. With all of this electronic transfer of results, shifting of election dates, and the INEC not even putting into consideration what the oppositions are actually saying as regards the signed electoral, bill. So let's get your thoughts on all of this back and forth that is going on as regards 2027 elections.
Let me take it from where you stopped. Aside what you mentioned, there are other several, issues underlining with the amended Electoral Act, and I was just going through the report, and I saw that it's really going to be a big deal in 2027 election, because from what I've seen in most of the reports, it's more like the opposition, they have quite a lot, to say concerning the electoral reform. And part of it is that the law restricts only direct, what is called now, method, or, of bringing in candidates, rather than when they had two methods or two options. You have the direct, which allows registered members to, of course, nominate their candidates, as well as the indirect, which allows delegates. Of course, we also have by consensus arrangements as reached by party leaders, and so it looks likely like the two other options are somehow being thrown out, and so they are left with just the direct method, which allows only registered members. And the parties, a lot of other parties are having issues with that. I'm saying they cannot be restricted, and it's posing more like it's not giving the parties the option, to have this other method aligned with what they want. And what strikes me most about this is that they are saying this is actually anti-democratic, and that it underlines, electoral transparency. And they're also saying that looking at some of the changes that have been done, especially also I saw where it talks about the timeline, as you were mentioning, the timeline for the campaigns has actually been shortened. You also have 6-month funding for INEC instead of 12 months. You have the issue of internet, and let me start with that. On the internet part of it, of downloading or bringing out results through that, it's been said that previously we've had I would say claims by one of the electoral officers in INEC, Festus, saying that, because we have the larger population in Nigeria, about 159 million internet subscribers, we have 200 million telephone subscribers, and we have a 2G network, that it is actually enough to be able to transmit results across, different polling centers and all that, and that every polling unit has internet access. I don't know how true that is, but I feel that that could also be an impediment to, getting transparency when it comes to delivery of election results. So that would actually be a major hiccup, which the opposition parties have also cited, because now it looks like the electoral reform being done now is largely opposed, as indicated by the opposition, that the president is actually using this to now oppose the use of technology for the transmission of results. These are claims, these are allegations, but I hope that this would actually be made clear, as time goes on. And, the parties are largely saying they are really opposed to being confined, of course, to direct primaries in selecting candidates. They've said the legal pretext for the corruption of electoral system is what we are going to experience in 2027 election, because of all these changes that is going to affect other parties. And so it's looking more like what they are saying is that APC is trying to sort of gain more advantage or leverage in this electoral act than what is supposed to be like carry other parties along. This should involve other parties, not to favor a particular party. Of course, as I said, these are allegations, but if you really look at it, apart from the timelines that have been shortened, because I see a lot of migmaroring up and down, wasting of time, as regards to, we want to do primaries, we want to do this. We are saying that let these things be done on time, so that at the end of the day, we have the result coming out. We know this is the fate of so-so person or so-so candidate on time, and we are cleared, on how to move forward. And then, if you look at the method that is being used, I would have really felt that INEC should have considered the two options, since these parties have the, they have the option or they have the leverage with those two methods, especially if it doesn't favor them with registered members. Of course, the delegates can also favor them. But now that we are saying one has been removed or two has been removed, just they are left with the direct primaries, this would cause a lot of commotion, and it's looking as if APC is being seen to leverage more on direct primaries, probably because they are giving a lot of brand with some particular selected members or politicians, and the other parties are feeling threatened with this or whatever might be their intentions. But the fact remains that when it comes to electoral acts, we should look at it from the perspective of it involves so many parties. It's not just one party. So I don't know why they've come to this conclusion about the electoral act, because of course a lot of people have been clamoring for amendments here and there, and now that a lot of the opposition party are saying a lot, I feel that INEC really needs to look into so that it doesn't look as if one party is being favored. And we've said it, democracy should be for all parties, whether you have a ruling party that is more favored or not. As far as it concerns the electoral act, it should bring together everyone across board, so that it's not looking as if there's favoritism on one side. And then this also helps the electorate to understand that the reason why the electoral act is being done is not to favor one party, but to also allow them room also to be able to have a free mind to decide who the candidates they want to put up for voting, or who their preferred choice is, not restricting them, because it also looks as if you are restricting the electorates who are going to make a larger decision. They have the votes in their hands. They want to make good choice with the vote that they have. That's their power anyway. So it's let it not look as if they are being restricted as well with the amendment being made on the Electoral Act.
Thank you very much, Medeto. I mean, you have just gone ahead to say it, because that's what will come to mind. INEC is supposed to make sure that all political parties, even the ones that are newly registered or the ones that have always been there, making sure that all of them are on the same page. Because at the end of the day, you are not just there to probably serve the few that you know, but every other political party that has come to register with you or that you know about should be able to, be good or say yes to your plans, so that all of you are working in sync. So that you don't keep a date, and then before you know it, another one is coming. Some one political party is going against that particular date to do things, or probably start up campaigns and all of that. So if you have a meeting with all political representatives and tell them that, okay, this is what you have on ground, this is what you're working with, I'm sure for the rest of them, they will definitely find a way to adjust to your, your timetable. But when you now get up and in the midst of the, oh no, this electoral bill, there are, there are portions in it that are not straight, there are this, there are that, there are things that you are not settled with. No, 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 we don't have to. In the midst of all of that chaos, be it coming from one political party or more than one political party, at least, you would have to sit down first, stop what you're doing, and want to hear them out and want to know what exactly is the problem. Okay, so that you all are on the same page and can work towards a good election. So that it doesn't seem like you are there serving the purpose of one party. You are there serving the purpose of one political party. Because at the end of the day, the government of the day is one government that gets to pay you for what you do. So what's exactly, and that would actually make people think about what's really going on. Because if you not do me well, you not do me well, that your salary don't go pay you, even if before you independence.
Yeah.
So it just so works that way. So I just hope that INEC is able to understand that, first of all, it's for the people that are doing that job that you're doing. Okay? So if today now, if the whole of Nigeria get up and say, oh, we don't want INEC anymore. For example, if everybody join voices and say, we don't want INEC anymore, do you think INEC will stand? It won't. So at the end of the day, you're also there to serve the people. Okay? Not minding who the present leader is, what the political parties are saying, or what it is going on in some of these places. It's just all about sitting down and hearing them out and seeing how all the political parties can work together,
Mhm.
to give us a good elections at the end of the day. That's just it. All right, so this is your Women Radio WFM 91.7. It's 3 minutes after 8 right here on Women Radio. And of course, it is the Daily News Review. And my name is Rose, and I have Fumi here, and there's also Adetunwa Adegogun, our analyst for today. All right, Fumi, over to you.
All right, let's go into the next headline. Excuse me, for this morning. This one, Electoral Act, Senate rejects fresh amendments. This is from the Punch newspaper. So over the last couple of weeks, especially this year, we've been seeing, real time, no real time, real time, no real time argument has been going on. But then last week, President Tinubu went ahead to sign the Electoral Act to say, it will be real time plus manual and all of that. And of course, there was backlash, but President has signed. Now, the opposition, I think this is the first time I'm seeing the opposition coming together in a very long time, because now they fight themselves, right? And so opposition, that's NMPP, ADC, they came on Thursday, that's yesterday, to mount fresh pressure on the National Assembly, demanding that this Electoral Act cannot fly, because they described it as anti-democratic and skewed ahead of the 2027 general elections. I think, especially in the light that the elections have now been moved forward. Is it backward to January? Everybody's like, okay, what's going to happen? And this is also in the midst of the fact that INEC, we don't know if INEC is going to agree on LP. Some of the parties, being passed on, being admitted into the electoral race and things like that. So they came and said, oh no, we want this, we're not going to agree. I said, sorry, that's one, pursue your concerns within the framework of the National Assembly. And this is what has been happening. So the NMPP and the ADC are saying, look, this thing is not going to work for us at all. Actually, that now, like I mentioned, there's now shorter campaign period, there's less time to prepare, and of which I'm like, is there really less time to prepare? Because you people already had 4 years. I'm always amazed or amused even by the fact that it's in the year of election that we start seeing movements. Like, it's not now you should be saying, oh, let's prepare. This preparation should have been done since, so that now you're just doing consolidation, But I'd like to know what your thoughts are on this matter.
Well, as I mentioned, the different amendments in the Electoral Act has really caused a lot of ripple effect and all that. That's why we are getting this feedback. But if you look at the timeline, I think it's necessary to adjust the timeline, because they've had enough time before now to have prepared. They already know who is, vying for a particular position. So they already have the time. When we waste too much time, I don't even think we need to waste a lot of time, talking about, oh, the party is ready, the party is not ready. They are ever ready. That doesn't mean that if INEC says election is tomorrow, there won't be, different issues with, voting, or there won't be issues relating to results, or even the candidates, interfacing with each other. So I think the thing here is for them to actually agree and plan for when INEC has actually, decided, oh, this is the date we're having the election. The electorates are ever ready, except for those who haven't gotten their voters card. And I think that has started, for I think since last year or so. And so registration is really on. If a lot of people have not registered, they should go and register. The party should put their house in order. We don't really have much time, waiting. Oh, you want to do this, you want to do that. And then at the end of the day, democracy is what should count. The people's vote is what should count. So candidates should be ready by now. You should know where your party is going. You should know the direction where the candidate is going. You should have, an agenda of what you want to do for the people. And when you put yourself out there, people should, be able to scrutinize and say, oh, this is the right candidate or not. It doesn't depend on the timeline, because I feel that we waste a lot of time, even though we know that 2027 election is coming up. So it's not until when INEC say, oh yeah, it's in next 6 months. They should get their house in order and be ready, be prepared for the people. And then, of course, the agenda matters to the people. So it's not just about the timeline now. Are you really prepared to bring out a candidate that will really, be ready to serve the people? I think that's the most important thing. And if your party ideology is right on point, definitely people will vote for you.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, madam. Good morning, madam.
Good morning.
Good morning, madam. I keep on praying for Nigeria. Praying for our leaders. Nigeria was not like this before. We are doing to one another. Always compete. Even some of us that are complaining now, if we get together with the world, I know what we say. Why we don't have the God of God, and nobody will get accountable. And that's what God is there waiting for us. Hold us all accountable. Look at the house in it. Just like small beach. You able to have your own house. I see our youth now. I told you where I'm living. I started with 30 naira per room. Flat then is 100 naira. 3 bedroom, 1 kid. The same house, no change. Like young for 20,000. The flat is young for 2.5 million. And it's justified. Is that nothing? That is what the person must for. I want all our back to be proved. If you're proving our back like that, I don't know how this thing that happened will happen. Look at all this part of the country. After you have moved on, I'm trying to bring it down anything. Because you're not doing that, everything that you actually see. Look at other political parties. After election is coming up by January. It's not settled. We don't even know all of them are in basket. Okay, somebody like me that has done now. They have mobilizing people from fantastic. After 2023 election, the brother and the last. I think the last. Now, to create this election, you want to come on in. Now you don't decide to election is January. Now, we go in. Say the truth. You have no corrupt. We need to make it corrupt. We have that fear of God. What you make it corrupt? We have to say nothing actually, because you know what the matter is. Any money got to you cannot utilize it. The night from 11. Some try and do 21. People that study the Bible will have a making. And if you're not for that, God will come and abandon you. You should always learn to do that. I keep asking them to do that. Example, what our parents did was when we tell me that good remember the son of God, how much children to do. You're making the right thing to do. What I want to do. We don't change. We have self-respect. When the spirit down, you can turn it off. Instead of watching how much is your salary? How much minimum? We are putting those people to the corrupt. If you are qualified, you should learn to read the right in the God of God. Nigeria was not like this. And in those days, God had many persons of many months. Many months. We can even corruption must be. That's what we are from God. We want a better Nigeria.
All right. Thank you so much, Evangelist Dixon, for your call and for your contribution. Truly. I appreciate you for always calling in. Okay, Adetomon, yes, please go ahead.
Well, I was just saying that it's not the issue about the timeline. Parties should be ready by now, and they should know the agenda of the candidates they are putting out there for the people, and it's left for the people to decide if such candidates, are well deserving of their votes. Also looking at the fact that we drag things a lot. We ask for more time. Even though we know that 2027 is just close by, and you already know about the election in 2027. So I feel that a lot of time that they have now should be invested in preparing well for the election to ensure that the election is free and fair, violence free, and the candidates they are putting out there from their different political parties are really prepared to serve the people. That's actually the most important part of the election, and I think that should be a priority to them. So whether they are given 3 months before the election, or 1 month, or 6 months, I think the level of preparedness of the political parties, their ideologies aligning with democracy for the people, at the same time also ensuring that the candidates that they are vying, or bringing up to the people are well prepared to serve the people diligently.
Thank you so much for that. Let's take some messages. This is still Women Radio 91.7. This is the Daily News Review program on the show, and we've been talking with our analyst on the many matters concerning Nigeria. Okay, let's start with the messages this morning. Phone lines are open: 0800 1235 917, 07000 917 917, 09155 917 917. You can text or WhatsApp us on 08155 917 917 or 0703 1756 537. Okay. We must choose one pattern of voting. Either we use the electronic method or our usual method. What is our usual method? We cannot adopt, like when you say usual method, we cannot adopt a system where we doubt whether it will work or not. So as we just shout Happy New Year, election don't start. Well, my brother, yes, so INEC should be informed that January is always fasting and prayer month for Christians, since now religion they regulate this may happen for Nigeria. Olushoga Ajayi from Udon Like Road. I hear you on that one, but you know that Ramadan, I think Ramadan is to Muslims as Christians as Christmas is to us. Or is it the second one that is basically imagine if we had elections during Christmas? That's I think that's the idea. Because when I saw it, I was like, but I realized that look, the Christians have the Easter holiday and the Christmas holiday. The Muslims have this Ramadan and then the Salah one, I think 2 months after. So yeah, that's but yes, as well as say Happy New Year, we definitely will be voting. Next up, please do well to go and register. Do well to go and register. Go and get your PVC, please. Okay, morning to you in the studio. On opposition, who said they want another electoral bill after President has signed the one that has been passed by the National Assembly? My question to them is, where were they before now? That's a good question. It's like they want to stop the aircraft that has left the airports. My worry for them is not e-transmission, but the mode of primaries, which is only 2 options: consensus or option A, for where all members of political party will vote for the candidate of their choice. How would that be possible in ADC? Because these are set of people that whenever they lose the election, they always claim the election was rigged. Example is the last 2023 general election where Atiku Abubakar and Peter Obi claimed they won the election in 2023. Even up until now, all of them are still saying they won the election. I don't know how two people will win one position. Thank you, Additional Wasi, for your message. He also says state police is inevitable now because insecurity has taken a different dimension to the extent that killings and kidnappings have become an everyday occurrence in Nigeria. There's no single day killings or kidnappings won't take place in this country. I hope the National Assembly will do the needful to empower the states to have their own state police. Or are they waiting until everybody is skilled? I can tell you many people are willing to join the state police and many people are not willing to join central police, most especially people from southern Nigeria, because they don't have confidence in the central police. Thank you so much for your messages so far. And so I want to ask you, I want to actually ask your thoughts on this electronic. What is our usual method? What's it? This electronic.
Our usual method. What's our usual method? Buy round paper.
Exactly.
And you have to put your thumb, with the ink on the ballot paper. Most times when people feel reluctant to go to the polling, I ask them the question that, how do you even know where you are going to thumbprint? And I think a lot of sensitization has been done on that. So if that's the usual, going to the polling units, to cast your vote and all that is what we've been doing. That's the normal thing we've been doing, except if you are saying, oh, everybody stay in the house and just do online voting. But I think that's the usual thing. We go to the polling, and that's why we need to really go and register for as many that have not done that. That's your power anyway. So you really need to go and register. You are also starting the electoral process by also being a registered card holder.
But then some people might argue to say that they voted in the last election and still what happened because they voted for one person, maybe Peter Obi or whoever it was, and then it was the president. And a lot of people, and so people feel like it's not like their votes matter anyway, because if you are going to rig, you are going to rig. There's also the argument of the more people, because I know that Emmanuel is always saying that the more people go to vote, the less they're able to rig. To be honest, I'm still on the fence about that one, but I want to hear what your thoughts on that are.
I am trying to get what you said there. That okay. the less.
So there are two questions. I'm saying that there's on one hand, some people believe that even if they vote, it's not like anything is going to come out of it, because if they are going to still rig, especially if their own person doesn't win, right? And then some people argue that, like someone like Emmanuel, our analyst, says that the more people who go out to vote, the less rigging will happen. I'm asking that, what do you say about both instances?
Okay, let me start with the rigging part. In Nigeria, over the last couple of years, at least since I was born, I can remember, I can start from there. Rigging has always been part of election. So you can't rule that out, whether we like it or not, whether in the sea, in the air, rigging will always come up. And that's why we've talked about the fact that there are so many things that needs to change, not just with the laws, but even with the people. There are people that go carry ballot boxes and try to run away with them. They are the ones that are at the center of rigging. All these malpractices that we have during the election, there are human beings that are involved. There are citizens of this country that are involved. So whether we like it or not, rigging is part of Nigeria's election. And it stays like that until the people who have been used to, pilot this, or people that have been used as machineries to do this, stop doing that. They are citizens of this country. So they are also part of the problem. If there's nobody being used for rigging, we won't have rigging. If political parties are using youth for violence, one day the youth decide that, we are not going to be used for violence again, violence in election will stop. So there are citizens that are actually being used for all these malpractices during election. So there's no way you can say you want to stop it until the people decide that they are no longer going to be involved in all this. So that is settled. The next one is the fact that whether you go out or not, rigging or whatever, vote buying, whatever, even in the house where people take the money and they don't go, will continue until our mindset begins to shift to say that our vote is our power. You don't compromise it. You don't say because of one cup of rice or whatever that they give you, sell your votes until our orientation begins to change as regards to our polity in Nigeria, even as electorates, not just politicians alone, but even as citizens of the country that are electorates themselves. That is another thing settled. The last one is the fact that you said, whether I go out and at the end of the day, my candidate or my preferred candidate does not win and all that. Excuse me, in other countries of the world, people go out, they vote, and it's not compulsory that their party or their preferred candidate wins. But the fact of what we are saying is that, remember when we had the Valve conference, I think 2 years ago, we talked about the power of the grassroots women. All these women, they have programmed their mind that whether Nigeria likes it or not, whether their preferred candidates gets the winning power or not, they will go out in their mass and vote. And they go out in their mass as grassroots women. They vote for candidates. So what we are saying is this: it's not about you just staying at home and saying, oh, because I'm going out to vote, my preferred candidate might not win, or some people somewhere already decide who is going to win. That's not your own business. Your own business is this: if we are 100 people and we decide to vote for somebody that has integrity, there is no how that rigging will come to pass if people that are Nigerian citizens and electorate do not take part in that. So we should begin to change our mindset that if we all agree to vote for the right candidate, nobody will be involved in rigging, because we have all agreed that we are not going to rig. No election violence. We have decided that this is the person we are voting for. We will go out there and vote for the person, and no party will come and buy our votes. Then all these malpractices attached to election will come to an end, and then we can all see the light at the end of the tunnel. So I would say to as many people that have this mindset of, oh, if I vote, my candidate might not win, you use that your votes and push it. If as many millions of us begin to push our votes in the right places, I'm sure our preferred candidate will win. And all those that are trying to truncate democracy in Nigeria will find out that they don't have anybody to use for rigging, they don't have anybody to use for violence, and they see the transparency in the voting method. I'm sure a lot of things will turn around. These are things that are happening all over the world. But at the end of the day, our mindset as electorates must begin to shift. We want transparency. We must be willing to give that transparency. We want to see good people in position. We should be ready to cast our vote to the right people. If we are able to do this accordingly, you will see that all these malpractices attached to election will begin to change, because nobody is going to be used as a tool anyway.
Thank you so much. Yes, Bruce, you were saying something.
Yeah. At the end of the day, now we did do ourselves. So if myself, Fumi, and Adetone say we're going out to vote and we made up our mind that we're not going to collect anything or do anything, we're just going to go ahead to do what we want to do, then I mean, I don't think we'll have the kinds of election that we usually have. Now, even if you want to say that, okay, 200 has changed to 2,000 or 2,000 has reduced to 200 in, when the countings are going on and all of that, even if you want to say that is happening, is it not still human beings that used to do all those things? It's still humans now, at the end of the day. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's all on us. If I am picked now to work, maybe during the elections, to be part of vote counting or whatever, and I decide to tell myself that, you know what, no amount of money will make me want to change things. Those that are working with the INEC chairman himself, those around him, and if he himself, decides to be a very honest and upright person, all of these things will not be happening. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So last, now we do ourselves. So we are the same people shouting that our vote will not count, and we are the same people not counting the vote right. So I mean, it's just a circle, and until we're ready to break it, this is the same thing we keep saying, because it's humans they use to cheat humans.
Oh yeah. Okay, we've come to the end of the daily news review today. Today, at least I'm not feeling as bad as I felt yesterday. Yesterday it was too much. But yeah, this is the last daily news review for the month of February. The next time we're going to be seeing us is going to be in the best month of the year, the month of March. See you at that time. Of course, next up is Radio Doctor. We have even so amazing. Can I finish? Because we have amazing programming for us still. But yeah, thank you so much for being a part of today's conversation. We truly appreciate every single member of our family. Oh, we have one more message before we go. Thank God we are live. Fumi Rose. Expect the someone for not reading my message yesterday. Sorry, Evangelist Shegu. Adetone, real opposition party ended with Baba Awolowo. The rest that follow after are bush babies. No serious structure, no feasible presidential candidates. They are shadows of themselves. All they do is criticize. If the opposition is serious, the timeline for election is immaterial. None of them is interested in our affairs but what to lose. Systems can only work when the people are ready to work. Very well said, and we are going to end it on that. It's a take coffee. Thank you for the coffee, sir. We're gonna end on that note. Thank you so much, Adetone, for always coming with so much insight and fire on the Daily News Review. See you in the best month of the year. Next month.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. 9:05 News. Ireland. That name is Radio Doctor. Bye for now. See you in the best month of the year.